Hey there. Gonna wait just a little bit as people come in. Don't know how many people are gonna get. Right now it says zero. I got to look up something really quick. Ah, I got one person. All right. As you're coming in, let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from. All right. So, welcome to the first live review episode of A Year of Trek. Even though A Year of Trek is supposed to start in 25 days, I decided to start it early with the new episode of Lower Decks. So it is August 12th. It's a Thursday. Lower Decks aired. If you are watching this and have not seen the episode, then spoiler alert. Let's just say that. So we're going to go through the whole episode, point out some stuff that I noticed, and then we'll kind of go from there. Rob, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. Can we talk about Cardassian therapy sessions? Yeah, no, that's. I think that would be fun. So we start off the episode. Now, this actually starts 3 months after we leave off in season 1. And Boimler is not with them. He's stationed on the Titan with Captain Riker. And but we open up and it's you have basically we've got this Cardassian torture room with Mariner locked to a chair. And at the time, we don't really know that it's a spoiler alert that it's a holodeck program, but we kind of get a key to that because as she's escaping, she has Boimler is locked into this into this wall, and he actually says, even though I'm a hologram, I'm sure that he misses you, and talks about how Mariner's his his mentor. So I didn't really catch that the first time. When I watched it the second time, I caught it. But the first thing I noticed when they were in the Cardassian the Cardassian torture room is the lights. And I was like, are they going to mention the lights? And of course they mentioned the lights. They did that. In fact, Boimler actually says, and of course, I have notes. I have lots and lots of notes. He says, they keep showing me lights. So I thought that was kind of funny. When Mariner escapes on a starship, we notice that it is a Miranda class ship from the original generation. And yes, it was a throwaway line, but I think that it's like that for a reason. It's like that for a reason. I think it's one of those hidden Easter eggs. Are you going to catch it? It's like when I teach, I throw in different little things and to see who chuckles and gets the joke. So so we see a Miranda class ship, and we don't really, we do understand it's a Miranda class ship, at least from the underside, and it's got the numbers NCC 1877. Now, on my first viewing of this, I got on the internet and looked up 1877 because are the writers referencing some type of expanded universe ship? I found 3. The Resolution, the Victoria, and the Callahan. Now it's funny because the Resolution, they say is an Avenger class ship, but it actually had a picture of the Miranda. The Victoria, they say, is a Centaur. They didn't have a picture of that. And then the Callahan actually says that it's a Miranda class ship. So I don't know who came up with the idea that it's an Avenger class, but it's a Miranda class that's already been stated in canon. I'm pretty sure they may have gotten that information from FASA. So anyway, as she's starting to blow up things there, they fly up, and you see a whole bunch of ships. So of course, on my second viewing, I'm like freeze framing. So I was able to point out a Jem'Hadar combat ship, a Federation runabout, actually several of them. It was almost like they copied and pasted those. A Klingon cruiser, a Maquis ship, a Ferengi ship, and then multiple Delta flyers. Now, I don't know if this was a joke because the Delta flyer in Voyager was destroyed a couple times and they kept on bringing it back. So I don't know if that's an inside joke as well. Now, as it's shooting out, we actually get to see that it's actually the USS Macduff, Macduff. I'm not sure if this is in reference to Lord Macduff, who is the hero of Shakespeare's Macbeth. I don't know. That's I can only assume. And maybe 1877 is a special year. I didn't really go into that much until I actually started thinking, maybe 1877 is in reference to a year. So I'll have to do more look on that. Another kind of throwaway line. So when Mariner is interrupted as part of her Cardassian therapy sessions, Jennifer, the Andorian, and I love the way Mariner says, "Yes, Jennifer." I thought that was kind of cute. She says, "I know we're not supposed to have any interpersonal conflict, but I really don't like that Andorian." This was definitely, I saw this as a reference to Gene Roddenberry about how he believed that us as a human race, as multiple alien races, that we would not have that interpersonal conflict, that we would just all get along. So I thought that was pretty funny. Now, of course, the whole point of this, the behind the scenes mission is they're going on a second contact to Aperjos. They call them the Aperjosians. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. And so they have a second contact with them. There's two kind of main plots going on. You've got this second contact, and then you've got this sub. What is it? This subplot going on between Rutherford and God, I can't remember her name. I wrote it down. Tendi. That's right, Tendi. So of course, Rutherford has gotten a date, the third date with Ensign Barnes, which I think is cool because, bring her back. It didn't work out the first time. It's working out this time, and they all blame it on, his implant being all screwy. And so, so Tendi is like, oh, there's something wrong with him and I'm gonna have to look. So there's that whole plot point on the other side. You've got Mariner going off on one of her side missions that's okayed with her mom, because it was established in the last episode that they're kind of work together. And they've already kind of mentioned that there's issues going on with that type of relationship. So during this visit, Mariner decides to power wash some of the buildings because they're dirty. She wants to beautify things, and she ends up power washing this orb that ends up giving the commander. Commander Ransom, and I don't know why I can't remember these guys' names. Ransom godlike powers, and of course, the first thing it pops into my head, but of course they mention it. But they mention Gary Mitchell from the original series, the second pilot of the original series, where No Man's Gone Before, where he gets godlike powers. And they on the screen, it has him, which, looking like a god, and it has his name up there, and they actually talked about him by name. But Ransom essentially gets these powers from a god, and then they start using the term strange energy, which is the title of the episode. They got to throw the title in there somewhere. So he starts, he just starts using his powers to work out because he's very vain that way. He ends up turning some of the planet people into him. Ransomites, I think he calls them. And then he starts turning some of their statues into exercise equipment. And so all this time they're trying to figure out how to stop him. And then they remove, he ends up removing his head, and his head goes up into space and attacks the Trito. And I was wondering if this was the removing of the head. This kind of goes off into another sci-fi universe, but I believe it was Mark Lenard who played Spock's father originally. I want to say it was what was it? It was a Buck Rogers episode. I could be wrong. It could be wrong, but I know it was played by Mark Lenard, and he played this character that could remove his head. So that kind of reminded me of that. And then, of course, when the head goes up into space and attacks the starship, I don't know if that was a reference to the Green Hand from Who Mourns Adonis in the original series. That kind of sparked something. One of the things I thought was funny is when the captain asked the doctor, how did they deal with Gary Mitchell, because they were trying to figure out how to get Ransom to stop attacking him. And the doctors I didn't catch this the first time. I had to replay it a couple times to hear exactly what the doctor said, but she says, Kirk smashed him with a boulder. And then of course, later on, she's like, I got to find a boulder. I think that was pretty funny. Tendi and Rutherford, towards the end, and it's kind of cool how they were in this hallway. You've got basically glass looking out into windows, looking out into space. And so you see the main plot point going on in the background, but as Tendi and Rutherford kind of make up, she's like, oh, well, I was only doing this because I care for you, and I didn't want you to not like me because of, your brain thingy. And then they make up, they hug, and she whispers, don't date, don't date Barnes, which I thought that was pretty funny. As they're trying to get, back on Ransom, they're trying to get him, they kind of appease to his ego, and then it gets big again. And then all of a sudden he starts shrinking and dying, and it goes to the planet, and Mariner is kicking him in the nuts. And I thought that was pretty funny. And she kept on kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. And then of course his powers dissipate, and then they come back. I think, first his powers dissipate. He throws up, my brain's not working. A rainbow. That's what it is. He throws up a rainbow goo. Then his powers come back. She kicks him in the nuts again. And I could only, exactly. Always restomp the groin. That's where I was going with that. In fact, that's my notes. They say it right there. Restomp the groin. So I thought that's pretty good. So don't know if that's a Master Ken reference or not, but it could be. And then all of a sudden, Ransom is cured, and all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, a big boulder falls on him. So I thought that was pretty funny. And of course, in the background there, they've mentioned throughout the episode, Boimler is, he's probably got, a big room of his own, that he's really enjoying it on the Titan. And boom, we go to the Titan, and the Titan's flying through space, being, attacked from, these things, by 3 ships. And you've got this like space anomaly off here. And then, and so finally the decision is that they're going to go into the space anomaly. And what was the term? One of the guys says, get ready for fluonic disruption. And of course, everybody's like, "Roar!" And the cool thing, of course, I didn't catch it the first time. I caught it the second time. But as the camera kind of goes in on Riker, and his face is all distorted, he goes, "I love my job." And then of course we go to credits. So there's my really bad rehashing of the episode and some of the things that I caught. I actually kind of like this episode. I'm part of this Star Trek group on Facebook. I just joined. So I'm trying to be nice and not like, hound him on the show, because that's I do want to promote the show. But I really like, I thought this was a good episode. And there was somebody who had posted in that, there's a rule of no spoilers for like the first 96 hours. And so of course, you can't post anything, but somebody had posted that they just watched the first episode of the first season and was like, please tell me it gets better. It's like, well, if you look at there's really very few shows out there where the first episode is amazing. Like, there's some where it's like, oh yeah, okay, it's Star Trek and we're just going to watch, or even name any show. The first episode is never really the greatest. I happen to actually kind of like the first episode of the first episode of the first season of this show, but that's just me. Yes, Rob. Riker stole that show. He stole that bit. I love that line. So, yeah, so that's the show. I don't know. I'm looking forward to see kind of how they go. They had, in the trailer, they left behind and, on some spaceship. I don't know, but, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. And I know that they run into some Nausicaans. Looking forward to that. I don't know. I just like these. I like these characters. I was hesitant watching the whole show originally, but I kind of just got over it and was just like, and I think I've mentioned this before when I relate this to the Star Trek, the Clone Wars, oh my God. May I burn in hell for that. Star Wars, the Clone Wars, the cartoon that, it's a cartoon and it might be considered canon. And there are some things that but it's a cartoon. Nothing's going to be perfect. Even the show, it's not going to be perfect. So I was like, I just had to watch it and be like, and just enjoy it for what it is. Let's see, Rob, if this is how we start the season, we can only go up from here. And it started with a great episode. Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. So this being the first Year of Trek episode, and if you're tuning in after this is streamed, and like I had mentioned earlier in the show, this really should have started 25 days from now, because it's part of a Year of Trek. Starting September 8th, we're starting off with watching Star Trek every single day, and then me getting on the interwebs and or as my favorite movie calls it, getting on the line, starting with The Cage and watching episodes every single day, getting on the line and talking about each episode. I'm not going to rehash each episode like I did in this one. But I will have actually separate episodes for the new stuff coming out. So I hope that you can tune in and check it out. If you can't watch live, watch it recorded. Next I will be up. I got to look at a calendar. So the next episode airs on the 19th. That is a week from today. And of course I will then watch the episode, rehash it in my own horrible way, and talk about the little things that I pointed that I got out of it. So there we go. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't have one of these nifty little books, you can get online. There's a link in the description below. I didn't really need to take a sip of my water, but I have water. And if you notice, shameless plug, of course, I'm wearing a Year of Trek shirt and a matching red cup that I can drink from that has the big logo on it. You know where you can buy this merch? You can buy it off the website, ayearoftrek.com. Oh, by the way, there's a link in the description below. So there you go. No sponsors, just buy my merch. That's all I ask. All right. So I want to thank Rob Ray. I am actually looking forward to meeting you sometime in October when I get out to Jacksonville. I think that'll be fun. We'll definitely sit down and watch Star Trek, and then I don't know, we may have to have a big couch and then a camera, and then everybody who wants to, we'll just chat about Star Trek, the episodes that we watch for that day. Marketing for the win. Yeah. So Rob, I appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the next episode, which will be a week. Right now I went for 5 p.m. my time. It's Pacific time. So I'm going to probably do that, and unless of course my schedule changes. So tune in, share, like, subscribe, and I will see you next week, next episode. See you later.